understanding what we talk. But I
Exactly.
recorded. So you recorded.
We're recording. I mean, we were like, like when we met, we were like, I was always complaining that we cannot record the conversation because we were just talking. I mean, we can have like a recorder, but that's just
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, it's up to us. Yeah. But I think at this point, whatever.
whatever.
Whatever. So are you, where are you?
I'm in Dortmund at a friend's place because I'm working in the theater, Dortmund.
And the
Yeah,
the thing you sent yesterday was, that was Rafael?
was with the Raphael Hillebrand. He's a dancer, and
So
it
that was
was in
Rafael.
Essen.
He was Rafael.
Yeah,
That was very cool. That was
thanks.
super cool. How did you what were you using to do that?
So it's something that he's been doing quite a lot. It's basically the camera is connected to the projector.
The camera is connected to a camera, normal camera.
Yeah, so it's just like, projecting what's seeing, and the camera is also looking at the projection, so it makes the feedback.
So the camera is pointing at the projector,
Yeah,
is recording the image that is
from the camera.
from the cam is recording the image from the projector,
Yeah, which is coming
yeah,
from the camera.
which is coming from the camera. So but then you were moving the camera like
Slightly.
physically.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna try that. I thought I was thinking maybe that was with OBS. You were just like moving the window of OBS.
Ah, that would work too. But it wouldn't make this, like kind of glowing effect.
Because yeah, from where comes the blue, from the light
I think
of the
it does like this dynamic range, or maybe because of focus. I don't know.
because that blue actually is just the light. It's just the light that the camera is having, because it
Yeah.
looks somehow that is defined. It looks like light from the stage, but it's just the camera, the light that the camera is catching.
Yeah, I think the side lights are not that blue. Like it's more like orange. I think they have so well, I don't remember, but anyways, the bluish color is probably like because I think white balance. There's like a if you use camera, it
And which
appears
camera
to
was it?
orange. Sony something like it's like a big one like for video like proper video recording.
I like a really good camera, like
Yeah.
not even a DLSR, but just like
No.
a recording, professional
Yeah.
recording camera,
Yeah.
like for streaming.
Streaming, or yeah, like for like a TV kind of, well, not TV, but
Like the ones that they use in Note, these kind of cameras.
a bit smaller than that, but like in that range, that
Yeah.
direction.
Cool.
And
That was the effects was wonderful. It was beautiful.
thanks.
Was beautiful.
Yeah,
So
I
then
mean,
I could imagine. So you behind so you were doing the choreography behind. You were moving.
sorry.
So you're doing like this, and if
Exactly.
you move it too much, you will fuck it up.
Yeah.
That will be so fun. I mean, that will so much pressure. Do you feel stressed? Because what if you're nervous and you are like, but it's a big camera. No, it's not a small camera, so you really have to move it.
Yeah, so what happens was that it's quite big. So I tried to like hold it at first, but it's like it really shakes. So we ended up just putting on the stage, and I was just like, turning a bit. But that's enough because it's quite far. So just like moving a bit makes a lot of, shifts a
But the
lot.
camera is not really in front. How is not really in front? How much is the distance between the projector and the camera?
I mean, the whole stage, because I was
Oh,
sitting in the front row of the audience, and then when the show started, I just walked there and started moving it. And the
wait.
stage is quite big. I don't know how much, like more than 10 meters. I don't know how it's. I don't have the sense of distance in this theater.
But wait, no, I get lost again. So what is so? But there was an image. There was projector. So it was using a projector.
Yeah,
It was a projection. And so if Rafael is here, like if this is the square and this is the back, this is the back. So here is where it's projecting, and Rafael is in here dancing.
yeah,
Where is the camera? Is here.
yeah. I mean, on the edge of the stage.
You have the edge of the stage pointing to him.
Yeah, and that also goes to the projection.
So at the same time is map sort of saying that it will go in the angle catching part of the projector.
Yeah.
Ah,
So I have to move it, adjust it so that in the image, for example, Raphael's here, but also the projection looks like behind him. Then it becomes like bigger and bigger.
depending how. Yeah, but that's tricky, no?
It is, yeah.
It's super tricky because the effect is wonderful, but then you have to be well quite millimetric in how much you move.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
if you move it too much, I mean, sometimes you have this effect, or you have the. It's funny because you're doing analog something that you do like digital, no? So you were like mirroring. Sometimes then you put it here, and then the image goes there. But that's so cool because at the same time you could see. I mean, physically how that actually happens.
yeah. I mean, it's his idea, and like we tried it already like last year in Hong Kong together, and that's why he asked me to do it again because I think we kind of, like went really well when we were in Hong Kong and this time as well. So yeah, you just have to know the geometry of where if you look at point where then image will look like what I just like I don't calculate but I can kind of estimate how things will be.
Yeah,
It's a
because
bit
that's
like
something
Hydra.
something that I found really interesting, and it's part of the things, part of like the tricks, sort of saying that I want to research in the work that I'm doing for the school.
True.
But like, yeah, a bit of like digitally,
Yeah.
by
Yeah, and it's
by us.
really cool that it's well, it's digital, but it's not like involving like programming or any technical things. It's just like camera and projector hooked up together, and that's it.
But then what I'm missing there actually is like the beauty, because you have such a, I mean, you have such a, that's a craftsman. So you're actually crafting something, and then it's missing, then somehow it's missing because like there is a craft there that I think I would like to see somehow, like to see that actually is happening in that way, because it's something that is very special, like how they, and I mean, nobody, not too much people will still do something like that. Rather you will try to do just effects with somehow. And so becomes, because now it's such a rarity, I as a public I would like to see somehow that, like, but that's become something different, like to somehow to address that is happening, like you or the person with the camera or the camera itself, it becomes part of the piece as well. But that then becomes the piece something else, then it's not what he's doing. Then the piece becomes something in relation with the technology in the space.
Mm, I see.
Then maybe it's because my I mean, it's just because we are talking of this, and maybe because we have this interest, and then I think of, wow, then I found like actually it's like Cinderella, it's like something that is hidden that I would like to see her, and she's behind. I would like to see her face.
But what I didn't get is like, so you thought, wait, I didn't really get it. Well, yes and no. So you said because of like lack of technology, or like What did you want to say? Actually, I
No,
sorry.
I don't remember. I mean, what I was
With
trying to
like crafting.
yeah, in the sense, so what I was trying to say is like this craftsman. I don't know how to call like
Craftsmanship,
craft
craftsmanship.
craftsmanship. Uh, that's something that I will see. I will consider something like that. Craftsmanship, something like that work within
Hmm.
because still there's the element there is a I mean it's a camera it's an electronic and it's digital so but still is not it's an analog machine is not yeah you know what I mean so because of
With
that
the movement and stuff.
yeah because that's not actually because what is happening with the object is that the object is being hacked that object is not to be used in that way. So because of and a part of that is being hacked, it has this rarity of that's what I was mentioning the Cinderella. I see it as a princess, as a something that is a wonderful element. It's not just a DSL Canon camera that you know you would buy to take picture. It's a special camera and that as well that I guess it will not be the state of the art camera, but it still is like these cameras. I think that's the beauty of these cameras that because the technology is for what people are using them is not so different right now. You can still use old cameras and I mean, if you compare, you cannot use that old computers. You know, computers advance very fast, so you cannot keep them for so long. A camera of these kinds, you can keep them for long because the case of use still is very similar on when they were created. So because of that, something of this is becoming somehow vintage, but at the same time, I think it's something that you can still use it for the same purpose that it was created 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, which is not the case with many things in technology.
I see. Okay, okay. Now I start to understand what you mean.
But then if you do that, then the approach as well, it becomes something different, you know, like the piece itself, if you talk then as the piece, it becomes something different. It's not the wonderful, the piece that he proposed. I don't know. I mean, I suppose part of his text and some things, but it for anyway, for the thing that I saw in the 5 minutes is something that is, I think it works. So taking that approach, you know, working in such a way with the element because it becomes that object that is not the technical support, but another element in the space that now is not
Mm,
being considered in the space that is completely different. You know,
true.
it changes the dynamic of the intention of what he wants as choreographer. What I mean, it's such a compromise because if you put up like that problem doesn't happen with the cello player because the cello player, for instance, is he's a person, you know, so it will not is not sacrificing. It actually is part of the space already. It's something that is
Mm,
poetic somehow, and it still is. Rafael is human, and the other one is human. So even
yeah,
though he is playing with the cello, it is in the space. While if you put something that is a camera,
yeah.
like the camera,
They're not, the two are not equal, but they are equally there.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and the but camera is something different.
Yes, okay, so in that proposition, yes, but can you think like if you just try to imagine then how that camera go inside of the space. I mean the thing is like the intention as as the choreographer as the director of the maker of the piece, it has to change drastically in the intention. Maybe the camera even doesn't have to change that much, but just like why the camera is there, it demands so much from the making, you know, in the making it's for you as creator, like why the camera has to be there.
Mm. Well, yeah. I mean, to me, it's I see it really. I think I see it really different because I already worked with him with this video feedback, so it's something very, how do I say, different. Also, like when we tried it, um it was just like it was just for between us, and he wanted to film something. It's not in front of audience, but we're just in a studio and trying out. But he had the text, which was not about his daughter, but um, maybe it was something similar actually. But it was different text that he was saying in front of the camera, and but he was dancing like in a similar way. And because of this experience, I like I don't know how I perceived that performance, but it definitely different from how you perceived the performance and how you perceive the objects or the people in the, I mean, the two people on the stage and the camera.
Yeah, I think something that is, I remember I remember like that's something that like Martin, I remember he told me when I was working on the solo and he was helping me. He says, because I was a bit nervous for something, and then he asked me, he was asking me like, did you did that he was asking me somehow, like I don't remember exactly his words, but he was asking me if I did that before, basically, because I was nervous of something. I was nervous
Okay.
for what I was doing and presenting. um and then so I said no. So then, and he was saying, there you go, so anything that you do will be good, it will be the best, because then there is no point for other one to compare. So the first proposal that that you do in certain framework, it's always, it will be, there is no chance of failing in that. Of
I see.
It will be always succeeding, because there is no compare, yeah, there is not a comparing
Reference.
point. There's not a reference point, exactly. And then I was thinking of that because of what you said. And then there's always this contradiction, when you work with with I guess with performances and stuff like that, because in one hand there is a natural evolution of how you work and you build a creature that is the performance. So you get relation within the people and the elements that you work with, while for instance an external person, it can come and I just see everything flat, or like for instance, in my, I will assume that things are in certain way, and then easily I will just disconnect or connect the pieces, because for me are flattened, because I don't
Hmm.
have uh, connection with the creation.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a really interesting point because I think it's also like why we do the practice and not the performance, because it kind of, I mean, we're how do you say it? It's, I think it's like both, that we're like trying to make no reference in a way because it's improvised, but at the same time we're making so much reference points by doing this over and over.
Yeah, like the usually in what I wrote today, I put in capital sometimes the practice, the
Yeah.
practice.
I saw it.
And I was thinking that in a way I feel similar to how I experience people when they do capoeira.
Okay.
So
I
like
don't.
old people, you know what is capoeira?
Yeah.
It's like, so, and then you have like really just the all people, they play in a really different way. And basically it's because the whole point with capoeira is that you is, so it's not a dance, but it's, well, it's not a martial art, it's something that is in between. And always you have this intention of tease the other one constantly like a monkey. So you're constantly teasing that I'm going here, but no, I hit you here. And you're constantly playing with this you're faking, you're doing things constantly to play with the other one, like you're monkeying the person around. And that basically, when they're with old people, or yeah, people who are working that for many years, they basically they just build a book of tricks, basically how to trick you, that just you will know on the yeah, just with the experience. and and the thing with something like that is that I see a similarity in what we do with the practices, because you have yes, like you're making your own tricks, like unconsciously,
Mm.
there are things that can work, which is
Yes.
which is very similar, actually. Yeah, that's very similar to the act of in dancing. There is something called instant composition. People talk about that. Like David Zambrano is one of the I don't know, it was one of the first one who really was teaching. It's called instant composition, which is the idea that you improvise, but actually you're composing what you're improvising. So you're not just improvising, but you're being conscious that what you are doing is composing, which is different, because you need to get out of, you need to have be aware of what you're doing, not just doing, like, so it's not linear, but you need to have reference point of being out. That's why it's very important for him, like, to stop. That's something that I learned from him. You need to stop and to know what is happening, to have these reference points of what you're doing. And and I think it's somehow, it seems to me that what we do is is a bit like that, in the sense that we we try to go in the flow of just being doing, but at the same time we know that we want to do things, no? So that's the play, constant play between, like, I want to make a beautiful and cool image that I will post in Facebook, but at the same time I should be doing, trying to get in the flow and make no sense what I'm playing with this. And there's constantly these things going back and forward.
Yeah, like that's I think that's also something I think about like live coding and like I don't know like if I think we talked about this post coding idea that I was saying, but and also like like going.
Can you repeat it again? Is that you have a post coding again?
Well, I think it's basically about like not being really productive about coding because like I'll just say it again, but basically coding is made for productivity and people save everything, every single change, and that's because it's made for running servers and specific hardware drivers and stuff. So it's not don't want to improvise something with that kind of program. But I think live coding, what it's interesting is it's not just like ephemeral, but um, I'm losing words and ideas. But it's about like habit, and like you create something and you just erase everything afterwards. I mean, some people save it, but some people don't keep it. And to me, it's interesting to just like don't not to have the archive of live coding. I mean, it could be video, but it not as a text because that's just
Mhm.
like trying the idea of like following the idea of productivity. But if we just forget about it and just have fun, but more like but still you compose something. You have to be conscious about what you're doing, and it's not just changing numbers, but you start to like yeah, like compose different effects, and then it becomes your trick, right? Basically.
Mhm.
And I think that's really interesting aspect of that. So that's it's no longer like copy and paste, but or saving in Git or version control, but it becomes more part of your practice.
Mm. Yeah.
Can I say something totally different, irrelevant?
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Relevant,
actually
relevant is good.
no,
In relevant.
well, everything is relevant. No, because I thought it's really nice that we just started talking and just started recording because this is how it should be. And when we're at Node, like it always felt like so difficult to start this
Mhm.
conversation because we're in this greenhouse and it was like we have this from I don't know, like 1:30 to 2:30 and some people are watching and this was like it's not this chat was not like that it's just like more random chat and it's not like supposed to be like show it to people. I mean we are showing it to people but I don't know what I'm saying.
I think that, I mean, it. Wait, by the way, this works very good, no? I mean, I just checked the image. The is really is not bad for. I mean, I have no green key. It's just the camera, the zoom.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What was I saying?
Oh, about
Uh,
this chat.
about this chat. I mean, it's so weird that, yeah, it's difficult to. I think there is. I mean, I'm always, I'm like, since few years, I'm trying to do that all the time. Don't know why. Trying to go in processes that are not like the nature is not going in that direction. Like, for instance, is like in like this is one example what we do with these best practices, and so this is one of the things. But I have been always doing like since few years. Don't know why. I have this. I feel somehow some magnetism that always attract me to do things that are going in the opposite directions, because so then in the when what we try to do is, in a way, I think, when we talk about this, in a way, is like we try to, how, and it's like we try to de-articulate something. No, actually, we try to articulate something that is de-articulate by the proposals that we, the framework that we work in the practice is not articulate in somehow. We, I mean, we have some minimum boundaries, but in a way we try to just be there with the best practices, right?
Yeah.
So but then in somehow when we try to talk is then somehow we need, we found in we need this moment to talk.
Hmm.
You see
Interesting.
what I mean?
Like
Which is,
I cannot just doing something else.
I mean, we need, I mean, it's weird because, for instance, like for me, it was in my head, like I know, like I want, like I'm really tired, like you're tired, like, but so it's important for me that it somehow is like it feels when you go to the, I I did that with my grandma. Go to the church and you confess your sins basically to the priest. You go and you confessed, like these are the things that I need to confess. Like, but it's like it's a secret. Like I need to tell you, and this has happened and this happened. Uh, it feels to me that is like a necessity to share something that I don't understand, but because we share the experience, then it might make me feel a bit better than if I share it with you, my
Yeah.
this thing that make no sense to me.
I see. No, I see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that's like the round after moving in a dance studio, kind of. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
it's a bit different though.
is it? I mean, because I think like because in both spaces you're talking about, that's intimacy basically. That's the intimacy that there's a space when you're being intimate, and actually it's because you're excited. You need to speak out. You're not gonna do that in other place
Mm,
that moment because you're being you've been moving and doing something, then you are very sensible at that moment, and you need to put it out. And it's funny. I think this is interesting from what we're doing. This in my head, this idea of that, like you need that's very similar to the process that I do with my psychologist. It's very similar. Try to articulate something that it comes from feelings. I mean, comes from really deep inside. It try to put some words, and yeah, you try to articulate something like that. I don't know. I see it as a space. I see the similitude between these two spaces because of the intimacy. I don't know how you see it.
But we also like did like, because I don't know what was the conclusion, because we said, you know, we wanted to chat right after the practice, and we did a few times, and then we decided not to do that. I mean, just to, you know, I don't think we have like a we made a statement about this, but it's just like we
Tried
tried
one,
to not to
tried
do
one.
chat afterwards,
Yeah,
and we're kind of sticking to that for now.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what you do, but for instance, like already I was thinking of that. Uh, like when I finish the practices, because now I'm waking up early every day because of the school bullshit with the school. Then I every time I finish the practice, I'm uh I'm I'm my energy is like so so normally what I was doing in the last weeks before I go we went to Frankfurt is like I go to the forest that is not far away from here, so I will take by myself like for myself like up to 2 hours to chill down somehow because I'm in fire, I have this energy. So and I was thinking that I cannot do that. I need to find already. I was thinking, I'm kind of practicing, thinking in the practice, like I need to find a way how to put me down fast. I cannot spend 2 hours going to the forest. So I need to start pushing, trying things, knowing the way my spirit. I need to try to start testing. Yeah, so I will see. Like, so Thursday we do a practice, no?
Yeah, I mean, my schedule is a bit weird, but I think Thursday is good.
Or yeah, Thursday or the weekend for me work.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
he's the was good in the weekend or on Thursday.
Let's do it. Let's do it on Thursday.
Yeah, I have like Thursday, like I start at 9 and I finished like literally nonstop at 7:30,
Oh, wow.
nonstop from 9. Um, but I would put it like I put it there. So I mean, wait, I'm mixing different things all because I'm tired. My brain is working a bit like oof, like jumping. So, but I was thinking that so we went to Frankfurt, and before we didn't met in person, no?
You're asking or what?
Like no. I mean, this is weird because somehow I'm kind of reflecting that maybe somebody will hear this, no? So it's kind of like thinking
Yeah.
as a third person. So like before Frankfurt, like we didn't met, just we have this space.
Yeah.
And for me, it's I was like, so now we're talking, and I was thinking that like the space before like before we go to Frankfurt and then this is not so different. I don't know how you feel that, but I feel that this is not. I mean, a part of how maybe a bit. I feel a bit more that maybe we strengthen some things because then I could see you and share some space. I mean, a part of Node was wonderful. Like I mean, the whole experience and things. A part of this like
Good
normal thing.
soup.
It's good soup. Soup every night. Oh my god. I refuse the last 2 days to the last 2 days I say, fuck, I'm not gonna have that shitty soup this time. I know I
No,
remember
some soups are good.
yeah, but what I remember was like so Thursday night I said like fuck this soup, I'm going for the sausage. And
Yeah, we did
then
that.
and then on Friday, I said, fuck the lunch and fuck the night. So then from Thursday, I didn't eat the soup, and then Friday, not lunch. And then we went for the sausage. That was on
I mean,
Friday, no?
that was a Thursday actually. Thursday's the last day.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
so
so
that
then
was
Wednesday.
Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah.
So Wednesday, yeah, Wednesday I went to have this hamburger night. Yes,
Ah, okay.
the hamburger. Yeah, but I don't know, like that. So yeah, for the question is like, don't you think this the space? I mean, a part of this like very specific things, but the space is not so different, like now that we talk.
Yeah, like it's weird to say it, but did you watch the video that people are like waving
Yes.
hands?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and I watched it and I was like, I saw you in the video and I was like, oh yeah, he was there in Frankfurt. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I forgot that you were there, but it's just like
yeah. I was staying in
it's
your
weird
room.
that we're in the same space. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very weird. That's very weird. I don't know. Because I'm doing this work about dimensionality for my school for 1 year, and that's something that in somehow is not consciously, but it's unconscious. It has a big impact. Like, what the fuck, like, because the whole thing is very weird, like really like what the fuck, like, so you really go, like, you go and like then you share the space really intense one week, even the key, because we have just one key, so you have to really be like a bubble, like really like then share everything, and and then and then you then
then we had the
you
same train.
and you took the same fucking train. But there is something that is weird, because what I was trying to share, because in somehow, I don't know, it's like the space that we establish some space or some reality that we built during during few months. I mean, before, like all the time since April until here. So this is not weird, this is just normal. And so this is actually what I'm trying to say, I guess, is this is reality, like then I talk with you, this is normal for me. And then when we were for 1 week in Frankfurt, that's actually real life, that's a three-dimensional space that's real. So that's what normally you will consider real, like,
Yeah.
um but in somehow that there is a glitch in between these two space, two atmospheres, that I think it should be documented for me somehow. I need to find
Mm.
time and space, like, to write what does it means. But it certainly, there is something special in that, because it's not, this is not the same space that when you are next with somebody, it's not the same space. So it should, I don't know, like, I think naturally should be some unbalance in between, like when you are in person or when you are in the virtual space. Like there should be a rough, I mean, it's a different dimension, it's not the same.
But I think I didn't think about this, but I feel the whole node was a bit like, a bit dreamy. And it was not like, it was physical, but at the same time, it was surreal. And maybe especially during this time that the festival happens like that.
You think could be as well because you were a lot in the virtual space?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking about it, but I really don't know. Like if it was not like that, but still like because anyways we were meeting in person and you know, but I feel like what was really made it like surreal was that the whole festival thing somehow, maybe the people, maybe the space, I don't know, but it made it, like to me it didn't really feel that like it really happened in real life.
I mean, I think somehow, I mean, maybe I'm getting paranoid, but like somehow I'm thinking, start think there is a complot for the government. I don't know. I'm thinking that there is something weird in that I think there is something that is not natural in the way how we as humans are entering in different spaces, meaning like virtual spaces. I think there is something that is like, I think there are under layers that uh, they have to be greeting, or like, I don't know, it's like, don't know, it's like, it's not real. I don't know, I'm getting paranoid. And maybe I'm too
It's
tired.
not real. Yeah.
Real, this is not real, this is not real. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, we can stop the recording now just to, finish it.
uh,
I mean, not finish the conversation, but I'm gonna stop recording.